Today I wanted to go over the gear that I'm going to be carrying on the CDT this summer, at least most of the big ticket items. So first and foremost, I have my pack itself. I'm going with the ULA Catalyst this season. The ULA Circuit is an extremely popular pack, but I kind of went a tier up because the Catalyst has a bit better load capacity, and I'm going to be carrying a somewhat inordinate amount of camera gear, and I like to carry a lot of food. I'm a man of heft. Okay, I can never eat enough when I'm out in the backcountry in general. And I just wanted something that would carry a heavier load more comfortably, and this, in the research I did, this really kind of seemed to fit the bill for that. I ordered a custom colorway on this one. I went with a dark green and fluorescent orange for a little bit of visibility. Fun fact, when I was ordering this, they didn't have the Ranger green colorway that I wanted, so they actually called me while they were making the pack and texted me a picture of this color swatch to see if it was, if it would suffice. So I thought that was pretty cool. You definitely don't get that kind of personal connection with larger gear companies. I digress. So far, this thing has been great in all my training hikes. The first day I got it, I put its max advertised capacity rating inside. It worked out great, honestly. I didn't notice anything, really. And to the point that I didn't adjust it properly. It actually sat cockeyed on me. And I didn't notice that until I stopped to film this B-roll. I realized, oh, this thing's been riding cockeyed for about 2 miles now. So, seems to be a good testament to how comfortable the pack's gonna ride. I have a lot of faith that this pack is gonna do what I need it to do going into my Thru-Hike. Getting into the pack here, I'm just gonna kind of pull stuff out as it's ordered here. First thing is my food bag. I went with the Ursack 2XL. Again, I carry a lot of food, and being in grizzly country where I'm gonna have to put my cook pot, my toothbrush, my toothpaste, anything fragrant inside this thing and well away from my campsite, I was reading reviews, and a lot of people hemmed and hawed over the 20 versus the 10, and even the 20 liter seemed to not be big enough in a lot of cases. I just set it for the 30. Does it weigh more? Yeah. Is it worth it to me in the long run? Well, we'll find out. Scent-proof liner inside of it, and keeping with all of my food items being in one place, my cook pot. The Tokes, I believe it's an 1100 milliliter pot. I'm probably gonna ditch this orange thing. We'll see. This one just seemed to be the best balance of weight versus functionality. It keeps my little jet boil mini stove thing in here. A bigger can of fuel, which, I may fluctuate between larger and smaller ones. We'll see. Seems nice. Gonna stuff this thing up with some ramen. God knows what else over the course of the months I'm out on that trail. And what backcountry kitchen setup would be complete without the Sea to Summit long-handled titanium Alpha Light spoon? The pinnacle of spoon technology. Yeah, this thing's been through a lot with me, and it's kind of bending, kind of breaking a little. We'll see how it lasts, but I would really hate to give this thing up. Been through hikes all over Pennsylvania with me, the Pacific Crest Trail, and Lord willing, it'll make it through the Continental Divide. Should also mention that I have a trash compactor bag inside of here to act as a pack liner for everything else that I've got inside here. Let's get into that. And getting into the pack liner, the first item we have here is my puffy jacket. It's the Outdoor Research Transcendent Down Jacket. As you can see, it folds up very nicely into itself. I'll probably use this as a pillow quite a bit, especially in the warmer sections of the trail. It's a very warm jacket. I've had plenty of opportunities to try it out this winter here in Pennsylvania, where we had about 2 months where it barely got over 20 degrees, and I don't think it's really rated for that type of cold, but it's gonna do me just fine up in the mountains, that's for sure. Next order of business is my tent. So on the Pacific Crest Trail, I use the Big Agnes Fly Creek UL1, which is a front entry kind of shell tube coffin of a tent, some may say. It worked, I fit inside of it, didn't have room for much else. I'm 6'2", pretty broad. So it worked. The thing survived the entire PCT through hellacious wind. There were so many times I thought the thing was gonna snap. It didn't. But going into the CDT, I knew I wanted a different tent. And I like Big Agnes. I like freestanding tents or semi-freestanding, whatever. So yeah, this thing is gonna be a condo in the mountains compared to the tent I had before. Next order of business, inflatable sleeping pad. I went with the Big Agnes Zoom UL insulated, the biggest one they got. I have, call it a love-hate relationship with inflatable pads. Yeah, a little better quality of sleep, I guess, but they never stay inflated for me. I've had the top tier Thermarest Neo Air X 2000 Uberlight, whatever the hell they're called. And the thing didn't last nearly as long as it should have for the price I paid for it. And to be honest, pretty early into the PCT, definitely before the Sierra, the thing gave out on me and I just stopped using it. Which I guess we can get to the next gear item, which is relevant to this conversation. A foam pad. I do plan to stack these as necessary, and this thing has much more utility than a sleeping pad. It can be a yoga mat, a seat, something to lounge on, extra shade when you're taking a break. But pretty much early on in the PCT, inflatable pad died, gave up on it, just used a foam pad the remainder of the PCT and every bit of camping I have done pretty much since 2022. So for the past going on 4 years now, I've slept only on a foam pad, to include during fire seasons. It works for me. I get great quality sleep on just a foam pad. Call me crazy. But I wanted to go into the CDT with a little something extra. If I can get that much better sleep and recover that much more while I'm out there and stay that much warmer, up in the mountains especially, I figured I'd give it a try. This thing feels nice. It's nice and contoured on the sides, so it feels like it's gonna keep me on the pad more, which is another issue I always had with the super duper T1000 model from the future light pad. Yeah, it never quite worked out with me staying on top of the thing. So we'll see how this works out. Oh, and spec-wise, it's pretty on par with the Thermarest, the Nemo pad. It's very much in that league of pad, so we'll report. We'll report back on all of this stuff, by the way. Like, there are gonna be updates, and at the end of the hike, I'm gonna do a recap on how everything held up, everything performed, so subscribe for all of that. Whoa. Next crucial piece of kit, a sleeping bag. This is the Mountain Hardwear Phantom 15-degree bag. Now, I'm a very hot sleeper. I run hot in general. So personally, I'm really not concerned about a 15-degree bag being too cold for me. I'll have base layers and whatnot too that I can put on if need be. If it does get to be a problem, I can just pick up a bag liner along the way, but I'm not too worried about it. This thing's very warm. I've tried it out here, again, in the very cold Pennsylvania weather. Kept me warm enough. And yeah, looking forward to trying this thing out. It's pretty damn light. packs very well. This is a huge upgrade from when I came from on the PCT. I've been using the North Face The One bag pretty much since 2021. Made it through the PCT, but it was like 4 pounds and did not pack well at all. This thing I barely notice. On the note of my sleep system, I also have this Carhartt beanie and smart wool merino base layers, this top and these leggings. So with all of this, I really shouldn't have an issue getting quality sleep on the trail. So for the most part, those are the big ticket items inside the pack. Let's take a look now at the stuff I have outside the pack. First thing that sticks out here is this ice axe that my buddy and my friend from the PCT, shout out Dos Equis, let me borrow a couple years ago for a trip up in the Olympic range in Washington. Never needed to use it, still have it. Tried to give it back to him. He said just to hang on to it, so taking it with me on the CDT, brother. Thank you. Probably wondering what the hell this is. This is for my camera and my batteries and SD cards. I'm gonna do a more specific video about how I carry my camera gear out there, but the long and short of it is I picked this up in 2024 to put on my line gear for fire season, and it worked exceptionally well for that. This is from Tenba. I love this thing. It's an incredible way to quickly access your camera whenever you need it. There's still leaves and sticks and stuff in here. Fire season. But this thing's amazing. It makes secure, quick access to your camera possible. It's not dangling off. The capture clip is cool, but I have a tripod plate on my camera, and I don't have a peak tripod anymore. That's a long story in and of itself. But yeah, I literally just have my hip belt stuffed through the back side of this. Again, I'll do some close-ups and a more in-depth video on this setup in and of itself, but that's what that is. Switching over to my phone to record this, but this is the camera that I'm going to be carrying with me. My Sony a7 IV. Man, this thing has been through some shit with me. I bought this right before I went out on the PCT, and it served me very well out there. And it's been through 3 wildland fire seasons, 2 of those, all of those with this lens. I didn't have this lens on the PCT. I got this in 2023, but this lens is awesome. It's the 35 to 150 f2 to 2.8. It has been abused. The lens hood does not attach because, as you can see, we have this piece of plastic. There's supposed to be another one up here, but it just kind of got sheared off from being just quickly thrown in and out of the back of the rig that we use in wildfire. So happens, you beat the shit out of stuff. It doesn't always stay in one piece. But I mean, it works. I have a circular polarizer on here that you can hear a little dirty, a little dusty underneath that. But yeah, it ain't pretty, but it works. It tells stories. That's all I needed to do. Yeah, there might be a little bit of image quality issues and very bright direct light, depending on the angle without the lens hood, but whatever, it's not what you got, it's what you can do with it. This is a just hand strap, so I can grab it quickly, not have to worry about it hitting the ground if I somehow lose a grip on it. Actually got this in Kyoto, Japan, in a random camera store, and yeah, so far so good with that. Yeah, this is the workhorse, the A74. This is, I don't know specifically what Gossamer Gear calls it, but it's like a phone holder. I'll roll over the product name, but I wore this on my Gossamer Gear Mariposa 60 that I wore on the PCT, and just plucked it off of that and put it on here, and it works great so far. You know, it's nice to have quick access to your phone, whatever else you want to keep in here. What do I have in here right now? Oh, speaking of Thermarest, field repair kit for Thermarest pad. But yeah, I like to keep chapstick, whatever, easily accessible stuff in this little mesh pouch here. Big fan of that. Tent poles, pretty obvious. Set up here. And on this shoulder strap here, I have the Chicken Tramper Gear Smart Water bottle holder. I love having quick access to water. I'm terrible at staying hydrated. When I hike, I tend to just put my head down, eyes forward, and move. If I didn't have water or snacks easily available, I would probably just blindly keep moving, forget to hydrate as much as I should. So Neanderthal brain me definitely needs to be able to see, water in my peripheral vision. Couldn't survive without it. These are attachments for the Gossamer Gear Sun Umbrella. This thing is going to be very handy in New Mexico and Wyoming, really just in general. I used one briefly on the PCT, but I found it in a hiker box, and I ended up putting it back in a hiker box further up the trail. But with as much exposure and heat and sun that's going to be in this low basin desert I'm going to be going through, definitely want as much shade as possible. So for me, this was kind of a no-brainer. In this same pocket here, I have my water filtration system. Got a 3-liter CNOC or Canuck, however you pronounce it, Vecto X. Apparently these ones are more durable than the regular Vecto bags. I had a 3-liter Vecto on the PCT. Technically still works, but it does have some minor pinhole leakage going on. And it's kind of clapped out, tinted brown from, gratuitous use in the field. So I figured it was time to just get a new one. And of course, the tried, the true Sawyer squeeze. And in addition to that, I have this handy dandy coupling attachment, which makes it really easy to actually back flush these things. Put this on like a garden hose attachment. If you've never seen one of these, pick one up. I believe Sawyer makes a kit now that comes with one of these and a 2-liter CNOC Sawyer branded bladder bag. I went with 3 liters because the more water I can carry, the merrier. In New Mexico, and apparently many parts of the CDT, water is going to be scarce. So I just want to have as much capacity as possible. Whether I fill this thing up all the time to its max capacity, I would rather have the option than not. Getting into this mesh pouch here, keep my rain jacket. Working with the Arc'teryx Beta SL. This thing's great. I've had it for going on 2 years now. Worn it all over the world. Rain, snow, you name it. Does what it's supposed to do. Pit zips. Big fan of the pit zips. It dumps heat pretty well. It's very light for what it is. Speaking of the rain jacket, I have rain pants from Sherpa is the brand. Sherpa Adventure Gear. I have worn these a handful of times. I got these in Lone Pine. What's that shop? I'll roll the name of the shop in Lone Pine in, the outfitter, what have you, but I bought them down there because I wasn't sure how cold and windy it was going to be up on Mount Whitney. Because I was adding that on for a side quest, and I just wanted a wind and rain layer. It was also a time where I took a spill during a stream crossing in the High Sierra, and was very thankful I had these just to add layers to keep myself warm on that unseasonably cold, wet day. And I currently have this in the mesh pocket, but this would go inside the pack liner. An Arc'teryx leaf waffle print mid layer. I actually wear this thing quite a bit on training hikes specifically. It's nice. It's lightweight. I think it's supposed to be odor resistant. Yeah, I really dig this thing. I wear it a lot, especially with the winter we've had. I've been utilizing the hell out of this face mask system, so yeah, I feel pretty confident that whatever I run into on the CDT between this, rain shell, puffy, I'm gonna be good to go. Not really worried in that regard. So, big thumbs up, this Arc'teryx waffle knit. On the topic of upper body layers, I'm actually going to be wearing this shirt primarily. It's the Fjallraven Abisko. Sorry if I didn't pronounce that right. It's very light and breathable. I can see through this shirt. There's a lot of like micro perforations. When a breeze hits you in this thing, you really feel it. Vent pockets are really nice. Also probably keep some Swedish fish in there. Just the ventilation of something like this is going to be better for me than most sun hoodies I've tried. Outside of the pack, I'm going to be wearing a fanny pack for additional storage. I'm going to keep an extra lens in here, some snacks, electrolytes probably. Looks like I have a lighter in here currently. This is the Cotopaxi, I believe, Baton del Dia. I'll roll that over. In my right hip belt pocket here, I have my headlamp. It's a black diamond. I don't remember the exact model name, but this thing's awesome. It's rechargeable, and I think I had to charge this thing twice on the entire PCT, which is, I night hiked a good bit, so that's saying a lot. But yeah, big fan of this thing. Not much more to say about it. Pretty straightforward. Gonna have my Garmin InReach as well. This is gonna be just kind of on one of my shoulder straps. Easily accessible if need be. Yeah, I have the InReach Explorer Plus. I know I could be saving some weight with the Mini, but I like this thing. I like the additional navigation capabilities this has. My phone goes down. Especially on the CDT, it's good to have backup route finding options if need be. So yeah, big fan of this thing. It's seen me through quite a bit. For my charging needs, I have this small rig dual Sony camera battery charger. For on-trail needs, I have this Nightcore 2nd Gen 20K battery bank. It's pretty light for what it is. I have these adapters for the various items I need to charge that aren't USB-C. Got these high-speed cables here. For charging bricks, I have this Anker 100-watt charger. This is something that I would use to charge this quickly, or if I needed to charge my camera. Something that would take a lot of power and time to charge otherwise. That gets this thing. And this is a Ugreen 65-watt multi-port charger this is just kind of general purpose charging, maybe my watch, my phone, stuff like that, when I have access to an outlet. So I can get in and out of town quick and not have to spend all day charging everything or fighting for a charger. I also have these SD cards. I don't know if I will need every single card that I have in here, but it's good to have extra storage if you need it. This thing is dust and water resistant, pretty handy. I'm also going to be wearing my Phoenix 6X. Footwear is going to be the Ultra Olympus 6. I had to mess around a little bit to get the fit perfect. They decided to add this heel pillow on the Olympus 6 model. It's not very popular, but I found that a runner's lace kind of negates the heel bite altogether. But other than some brief issues of heel bite when I first got these things, they feel great. I can hike for 5+ hours in these things, and my legs don't feel it. My knees, my ankles, shins all feel fine. Should also add that I pair them with these Superfeet hiking insoles. Superfeet has been a name in the space for a while. They make great stuff. They recently rebranded, so I don't know what these were before, but they're the Hike model now. They feel amazing. Definitely going to continue to rock these throughout the entirety of the CDT. And I've got a couple pairs of these locked and loaded, ready to be shipped out as I need them. So yeah, I feel pretty good about my footwear selection, and I just know that's not an area that I'm going to have to worry about, which is huge. Another big item I wanted to bring up, my trekking poles. These are the Lecky Makalu Light model. I got these things in Lake Tahoe on the PCT, and they have held strong ever since. They got some wear and tear on them, but they work just as good as the day I got them. Kind of had to step away from carbon fiber trekking poles. The lightweight is nice, but as a hefty person such as myself, when you need them, they don't always hold up. I snapped a couple of them just from simply using them when I was falling or losing balance over rocks or something. But yeah, these things are tried and true. They've been with me through a lot and will continue to be with me through whatever comes my way. That about sums up the major gear items I'm going to be having with me on the Continental Divide. Just figured I'd make a fun video, share and compare. I'd love to hear what you're carrying on, maybe not just a Thru-Hike, but whatever you like to take in the backcountry. Let me know, leave a comment below. Look forward to some healthy discussion, or maybe some opinionated discussion. Let's see what you got. Thanks for watching. Be sure to follow along here on YouTube, especially on Instagram. I'm also going to be blogging for the trek for the duration of my Thru-Hike. A lot of places to follow along, a lot of content to consume over the next few months, and looking forward to having you with me on the journey. Thanks for watching. Peace.